Hello and welcome to Wisdom Hour on the 22nd of March. I'm starting a tiny bit early because I've got a lot of questions in today and I hope to get through as many as I can. And I've got to be out of here bang on 2 today, so no messing. Just before I start, I'd like to welcome anybody who turns up and who watches this later. This is a free service for now, and anybody can put in a question through my bit.ly link, which I will post afterwards, either below or above this. And the idea is that if you share your problem, often the answer can help other people who also have a similar problem by seeing things from maybe a different point of view, okay? And the other thing that I just want to mention is, I always say to people, the intelligent thing, if you're having a health problem, is to get as much information as you can. So, please don't resist going and getting tests done, like blood tests and things like that, if you're having serious physical problems. Because, it's all information, and you need all the information you can get. And, people will make their own decisions about whether they take medication or advice from their doctor about certain things, whether to have an operation or not, or all sorts of things. But, do absolutely go there and make sure you get some of those things ticked off first, because we don't want you in a crisis situation where you have something life-threatening. And just because you didn't go to the doctor, it wasn't picked up in time. So we're all here for a reason. Doctors do a great job when it comes to the crisis intervention, when it's something super serious, and we need to respect that and also bring them on board and the wonderful work that they can do as well. It may not suit every situation, but you know what I mean. Get all the information you can. Okay, so going to move on now with these questions. Number 1, how do others manage their great fear of presenting themselves in every situation? For example, a new job, a new job. Sorry, I got that wrong. How do others manage their great fear of presenting themselves in every situation a new job brings? From interviews through to doing presentations to teams, etc. Okay? So I have muscle tested a goal for this already to save time, and it says to stay focused on my great way of helping others. So let's see what answer we can get to this. I'm sure it's a huge issue for a lot of people, that fear of presenting yourself for an interview, maybe in front of a panel of people, or having to do a presentation, whether it's for your MA or your PhD or just for your workers in general. It can be very demanding, okay? So, to stay focused on my great way of helping others. I want to work with, yes, no. If you're watching this, I'd like you just to hold your tummy beneath your navel, please, just underneath the navel, okay? Notice how it feels in your gut when you think about presenting, and know that this feeling won't go away unless you begin to focus more on what it is that you are trying to explain or get across. Your fear of presenting won't go away until you accept that you are an individual, and as an individual you are not perfect and probably never will be, just like everyone else. This seeking of perfection before you present yourself doesn't help anything, because this habit keeps you from placing yourself in front of people for many things. And so you need to focus on how you are able to help. This is true for interviews and presentations. When you go for an interview, look at the people interviewing you and think, how can I help them the best here? Help them to either get the right person for the job, or help them to see that I have the skills they are looking for, or get your own self out of the way and focus on the other people. If necessary, pick out one person to focus on and create a proper connection through your eyes with this person and speak directly to them. This is helpful in a panel situation or in a group presentation situation. Choose the person who you feel most aligned to and focus on them. Okay, so there's a little hint there for you. Think about how you can help them. Keep focusing back on that, and that should get you out of being too over-focused on yourself and whether they're whatever, your imperfections, your fears, your this, your that, your other. Develop a clear focus on them, and then hopefully a lot of those fears they won't go away, but they might fade into the background and not be in the glare of your focus. Okay? Next one. How can I know if I've made the right decision about anything? Well, goodness, you don't want to know much, do you? Okay. About anything. Not about something, about anything. I don't know. So the goal I got here was to know how to accept my decisions. Okay. We want to work with 1, 2, 3 or 4. Shorts, resource, respect, daily life activity, environment, nourishment, language. Respecting language. Okay, so we want to work with a statement, a question. How do you please yourself? What is it? How do you please yourself once you have made a... How do you please yourself once you have made a decision? I don't know what that means exactly, but I'd like you to think about that question and give it your interpretation, okay? You don't please yourself after making a decision. Instead, you place yourself in the other answer, the other alternative, and imagine how much better this could be. And of course, this makes you then worry and second guess and think, oh my goodness, I've made the wrong decision and all of that. Instead, once you have made your decision, do this process, the same process, but putting yourself in the future of the decision you have made. And there, celebrate, enjoy, and please yourself by imagining the best outcomes of this decision. Every time you are tempted to go and imagine what the other alternative might have brung or whatever, bring yourself back to the projection of a positive outcome for the decision that you have already made. Anything else about that? Anything else? So that was fairly short and sweet, wasn't it? Yep, that sounds good to me. Because listen, the truth is, it says here, how can I know if I've made the right decision about anything? I think the honest truth is, nobody can they? Until, you go down the track a lot more and look back and you go, that was the right decision. Or it felt like the wrong decision for 3 years, but then I realised if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have gone on this path or that path or whatever. So, it's really not about knowing if you've made the right decision. It's about accepting that you've made a decision, yeah? And making the best of that decision. Is that right? Yeah, same. Yeah, that's right. Okay, hello, Rose. So, because we are often in these situations where we have to decide or choose between one or the other thing, don't we? And we're better off to just, once we make the decision, accept it. That's my decision and I'm going to make the best of it. And I won't know for a very long time which of those two decisions might have been better. And in fact, you will never know what the outcome of the other one is because you're never going to live through that. So what's the point of even considering it unless you choose it? Okay, on to the next one. The hardest thing for me is getting myself understood at work. Are there any tips you can give to help me? Okay. So, what I've got here is, as I say, I've just muscle tested for a goal before I start these to save time. And the goal was to get my message across clearly. Right. So we want to work with that particular, give me yes, give me no. 1, 3, 4, receptive expression wants to right, true. Okay. So, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's looking for a bit of energy, stuff that I have here, energy medicine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where she wants me to put them in the screen, no, on me. Okay, because I'm surrogating for these people, I'm just going to put these little cards on myself. See, they're just like that. Right, says it needs me to put it on beneath my navel. Seems to be a favourite place that comes up with these things. Actually, it's beneath the navel. It's our power centre, isn't it? And where we get a lot of messages from. So, 2, 3 or 4. She wants to balance, respect, resource, daily life activity, environment, language. Okay, so we're going to resource the language. Okay. Through a question, a statement, an I statement, a you statement. You can't know if you've been understood correctly unless you ask. The best thing to do is to ask the person what they have taken from what you said. Or, in other words, what have they heard? You may find what they hear is completely different to what you were trying to get across. And that is all good because now you know that you need to explain yourself further or help them to understand with more information. So you clarify and you keep doing so in a natural way. For example, when you have explained something and you are concerned the person doesn't understand it, you could say, "Tell me what you've just heard." And then they might give you their interpretation back in their own words, of course, and you would then notice, did they get the message you are trying to relay? If not, then you can begin to explain in a language that mimics the language they have spoken back to you with. Now, that sounds complicated, but it's not really. In other words, really listen to what they are saying back to you and formulate the extra information using the type of language that they are using. because that is the way they are thinking. So, to give instructions in language that does not meet another person's way of communicating will always be fraught with possible misunderstandings. And often from their point of view, they think, what on earth is she on about? Or something like that. Because they think you are being super unclear, but you think you are being super clear, and they just don't get it. You have to understand we all communicate in different styles of language. Some people are more visual, some are more audio, some are more kinesthetic, and so on. So, a very visual person who is not very audio won't understand things so easily if they are just told to them over the phone or something like that. They need to see things, they need to see you and see things written down or diagrams or something like that for them to easily understand. And the same for a very highly audio person. They would find it harder to understand something just by looking at things. They would need to discuss or listen or talk about it as well. So we have all these different things going on, and people have different ways of receiving communication in their brain and interpreting it. It's no one's fault. It doesn't make anybody more clever than others or better or worse, but it's good to understand this so that you can find a middle ground where both of you can communicate clearly. Okay, so there we are, a little hint for you there. Now, this is a little bit funny, this one. It says here, you won't know me, but I know you. Sounds like a bit of a stalker. I'm sure you're not, because it then goes on to say, what does it say? You won't know me, but I know you. I've been following you. Can I make an appointment without buying a package? Okay? Right, so I can just answer this as me, because it's directed just to me, okay? Is this okay? Yeah. So, yes, you can make single appointments with me without a package. I don't recommend it if you have something, an issue that's quite big or quite serious to work on. I really don't recommend that anymore, because I've realised I've done a disservice to people in the past by just letting them come and do one session and think, oh, well, I know what to do now, la, 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 and off they go, right? But then because they're not supported or whatever, they just fall off the wagon, or, it might only be the first layer of something that they're working on. We are multidimensional beings, and we have multidimensional things going on with us. So in my experience over the years, I've learned that the best thing to do is to discourage people from coming and doing just one session with me. And I discourage them by charging a lot of money. Okay, that's what I do. Whereas if what I prefer is that, also too, because people turn up and they want me to cure, warts on their bum and problems with their relationship and their working with, and everything all in one session. I mean, come on, get real. It's not going to happen, okay? What is it? The impossible we do immediately, miracles take that little bit longer, okay? But what you need to understand is that if you have a complex health issue, for example, or something that's been going on a long time, or an old pattern that keeps on coming back up in different ways, you need to really focus in and work on that over some time. Now, some people are lucky and they shift things really fast, and I have seen this happen, and it can happen, okay, and it's brilliant when it does. And other people just need to, stick with it for a bit and really plumb it and get it sorted out. So as I say, you can come and do one session with me, but it's not cheap. What I prefer people do is to go onto my website, katiekalin.com, and just book the half-hour free online session with me. That's when we work together. I work out what the problem is. I work out, and I actually work out how long I think we would need to work together for, and I can offer you a package that suits you, whether it's financially, time-wise, is it online, is it coming into the clinic. There's so many different ways that I work with people that it's good to find a match that really suits people's pocket and their availability and their ability to travel and all sorts of things. So that's why I prefer that you book yourself a little free half-hour session with me, and we do a little bit of work so you see how I work with people distantly, and focusing on your stuff, and we kind of get a good picture of what we need to do or where we need to go with this. All right? So I hope that answers your question. Do keep following me. You sound like a nice stalker. And as long as you don't, come with a knife or anything, I'm very happy to give you a free session online. So now, next one. Right. Next one it's kind of nice too. It says, the early bird catches the worm. So I hope I'm not too late to get this in. Isn't that nice? When I'm being a great warrior, and that's a W-O-R-R, not a, like I worry, she worries about things. When I'm being a great warrior, I get so anxious about everything that I don't sleep. Can I do something to get myself calm before trying to sleep? All right? So I've got, a goal sorted out for that one. To get my general concerns out of my head. Okay, so this goal's... Oh, we're reversed. Why are we reversed? Do I need to do something? It's because I still got that one. No. What's going on? My muscle testing has reversed. Why? I need to do something. She needs to do. I need to do something. I just need a little bit of first aid for myself. Is that for me? So I'm just going to hold these just to bring me back into a place where I can muscle test clearly and not bring my own stuff into it. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's because of the last one. Yeah, kind of brought, it was about really what I offer, me, yeah. So I have to get out of that so I can just work clearly for this person, yeah. Okay, is that enough? Give me a yes. We're back. I'm back. Hello. So, right, to get my general concerns out of my head. Okay, this goes. That's right, we're okay now. Right, we want to work with 1, 2, 3, or 4. Tap and touch of house clips. I need to, she needs to. Place your hands in front of your gut, below the navel, not on your body, but about 6 inches away. So you'd be holding them like this down in front of your tummy, okay? Below the navel. And notice how your hands feel in this place. Do they feel hot or cold? Do they feel tingly or dead? And how does this relate to all of your worries? For example, if your hands have gone cold, you place too much emphasis on holding them in a frozen place, a place where you don't move on anything. This means making decisions or asking for help or doing what you need to do to move out of the issue or move it on. If they are hot, you are getting too wound up and upset and angry, and this doesn't allow you to think clearly about what you can do. If your hands are tingling, you are getting wobbly and wobbling from one to the other. The withdrawal of trying to do anything and the being angry and upset about it. The best thing to do is to write down all of your worries, all of them, without any editing and without trying to be polite or trying to be nice or anything like that. You can be as horrible as you like. Just get it out on paper in any way, shape or form it comes into your head. Write it down. Don't worry, no one else will see this and you will be destroying it. The purpose of writing it down is to get it out of your head and onto paper. Here, when you read this back, you will find that you can see patterns in yourself and also a way forward in terms of what you need to do. This exercise also helps to get your anger out of your system, because when you do decide to do something, you do not want to enter into your action in anger or when feeling very upset. So use this exercise to process all of those feelings and get some idea of what you can do to change this or these situations. If you do this exercise and still are stumped about what you can do about it, you need to seek some help. And you can do this by getting some counseling or getting an ally to talk it through with, or anything or any therapy of your choice where you feel you can talk it through with someone who is not emotionally involved. That's it. That's it. Okay, so I hope that is helpful for you. So to calm yourself down, get it all out of your system. Get it out. Just keep writing and writing and writing and writing, scribbling, as fast as you can. Just get it out and express the deepest stuff that you have, feelings about it. As I say, they may not be pretty, so don't worry about that. Too many people, especially women, worry about, oh, well, I'm not a nice person if I say something really horrible about somebody, or, But listen, you're not going to affect them. You're not going to hurt them. You're just taking responsibility for your own energy and actually dissipating it in a way that is safe. Safe for you and safe for them, because they're certainly not going to be affected by it, okay? Whereas, if you go around suppressing all your feelings about someone, or trying not to show them, or not to this, that, the other, you can guarantee you get into projecting stuff onto people then, and that is way more, I won't say dangerous, but it's much more negative, really, and can cause a lot more negative consequences. Okay? So we need to notice what we're feeling, express it in some way that is not harmful, and then we can get a clearer head about, okay, so what do we need to do about this now, if anything, if we can. Or maybe it's an internal shift you need to make in yourself. That's the sort of thing that a counsellor or somebody can help you with, or someone like me, or whoever, your person of choice. Right, next thing. Oh, now, this poor person, they said, goodness, I've got so many health issues. She said she's got food intolerances, extreme food intolerances, digestive problems, weight loss, something or other sleeping. Sorry, I scribbled these down off my thing. Something or other trouble sleeping, neck pain, sciatica, menstruation problems and money issues and low energy. Are these issues coming from physical, emotional, spiritual, or another source? Okay, the goal I got here was to become energized for my recovery. So, okay, because there's a lot going on there. Gee, you poor thing. Okay, so to become energized for my recovery. What do we put here? This is God's positive factor, clear energy. What do I 2, 3, 4? She wants to work with language, balance, resource, respect language, statement, a question, her question. Your question about where all of these problems are coming from doesn't actually help, because the question won't lead you anywhere helpful. This question needs to be respected, and what this means is that we need to take something away from it and add something else. What was the question again? Jesus. Oh, are these issues coming from? Okay. So, I want to take off the beginning, the end. Are these issues, she wants to lose the end. So the better question is, are these issues able to be resolved? Okay, it's saying that is a better question for you at this point. The answer is, your issues can be resolved, but they won't move and transform unless you open yourself to a practice which addresses all of your systems. These systems being your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual systems. You need a practice which integrates all of these systems to be the most effective way forward for you. You can do something like yoga or Tai Chi if and only if you are working with a master. By this we mean someone who truly understands and respects the multidimensional aspect of these arts. Most or many instructors do not, and they do not practice what they have learned. It is important that you find someone who actually works on all of these dimensions through their practice. This is why we call these people masters. Not because they are a master of you, but because they have mastered their art. That's all I've got for you, okay? So, yeah, as I say, I can only give you what I get for you, and that's what it's saying. So what's interesting about that, isn't it, is it's going from something that you've presented as extremely complex and giving you just one thing that it said you know could really help you to start on your way of self-healing and integration and recovery. So, searching for the master, the person who can really help you on that physical, mental, emotional and spiritual level. You can do this by getting clear that these people are around, and you can start asking, and you can start being open to finding one, and keep this always in the back of your mind. As it has often been said, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Okay, so there we are. I hope that might help you a little bit with some direction. Now, how are we going? Oh, going really well here actually. The last one I've got today. I have ongoing knee pain. The last few days it's flared up massively. It's hard to bend down and I have a fear of bending. How can I get to the root of my pain and heal my knee fully? The goal I got was to get to the great fear, of allowing myself to be flexible. Okay, so to get work with 1, 2, 3 or 4 receptive. She's after some inner wires now. Okay, how many? 5 little energy cards for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where do we want them? Show them on me, somewhere else. Where do you want them? Just here in front of me. Okay. Just here in front of me. Anything else? Okay, thank you. You have a great fear of becoming flexible in your general life because your way of engaging with the world does tend to be quite rigid, and this presents in your body. It has come to a crisis point, whereas in the past you have been able to ignore it or notice it a bit and ignore it. Now it is really telling you that it's time to make a change. This fear of changing your mind once you've made a decision, or giving in your words, when you feel you have finally decided, won't help you in your life. There is always a time and place to change your mind, and changing our mind does not mean we are weak or generally flaky. Maybe that's your word too, I don't know. Generally flaky, okay. Your present stance is one of making my mind up, and when it's made up, nothing and nobody will shift me, because if they do, it means I am weak. In fact, the opposite is true. If we look to nature, we find that it is the most supple things that do the best in nature. So, for example, a tree that can bend and move with the wind can often stay during the greatest storms. But if the tree is not well rooted and is not very flexible, it will be torn up. Water is also a very soft and yielding element, but it is one of the most powerful things on our planet. But it gives way when it wants to, and it changes its course to get where it wants to go. Just like this, you can decide to be more flexible. This doesn't mean you what? Doesn't mean you get all of your decisions turned over or anything like that. But it means that if you see that something simply is not working, you have the opportunity to change your mind and move in a different direction. Anything else about that? That's it. Okay. So, anything else we need to talk about today? I do need to talk about something else today. I wonder what it is. Did somebody else send me a question, I wonder? Let me just check if there's any more that came in, because we're in record time today. Oh, there is. Look at that. Huh. There's another one. Where are you? Okay, let me have a quick look what this one is now. Sorry about the wait, guys. Right. When I have to do an exam where I'm observed by a small group taking a client for college, when I have to do an exam where I'm observed by a small group taking a client for college and find when I have to do something like this, I'm dreading and worrying months before, and especially the week before, as I'm a really shy person. I don't quite understand the first part, but I get the second part, okay? So when I have to do an exam, I don't understand this part, where I'm observed by a small group taking a client for college. Oh, I see. You're having to show something maybe and pretend they're a client, right? And you're being observed by a small... I get you now. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, thank you. Now, and we go down to the question, how to manage... No, that's not it. See, this is why I write them down, because it's sort of... I have to muck around. I don't like mucking around. How can I be more relaxed and worry less about being too nervous if I have to do a presentation type scenario and avoid all the stress on my system? Oh, she has one tomorrow. Thank you. Okay. So you have an exam or something tomorrow. I get you. Okay, so hopefully I can help you with this. You may like to refer back to the very first question that was put in today, because it was answered, and it's very much about this actually. Okay, but let's see if we can get something else for you as well. Okay, we need a goal. Goal is to be great in myself when I do my presentation. Okay. You are having a wobble, and that is normal before an exam, and you won't get any wobblier. Okay, so stop worrying about that. Your real task is to get clear on why you are doing these studies in the first place, and remember why you are enthusiastic about receiving your qualification. Think ahead to why you want this and how it will change your life, and how you expect your life to change because of it. This is motivating for you and keeps your eye on the prize, if you like, which focuses you in a different way and allows your current challenge to be slotted into this in your mind. Your current challenge won't throw you when you keep your eye on that prize and you get clear about how you can help the client you are working with and being observed with, and also how you can help the person or people who are looking at you. This is a big change of focus from thinking about ourselves and our fears, and that we aren't perfect, and what if I don't get through, and what if I make a mess of, what if I make a fool of myself, and so on. So, tonight, start imagining all of the wonderful life you hope to create based on this training, and imagine yourself 3 years ahead and doing really well, and ask this person, see her or him across from you, seated in wherever, their office or their clinic or wherever, and you are on the other side of the table, and ask them, how did you manage to get through those exams? And this very wise part of yourself will remind you what you need to focus on. Do this now. Get this picture in your head of this future you who is doing brilliantly and really enjoying her life, and ask her that question. How did you manage this? Use this every time you start to think or worry about your exam. And when you are doing the exam, bring your focus back to your client all the time, focusing on how you can help them the most, and focusing on how you can help the examiners in any way, shape or form. This will take your focus away from worrying about yourself. For example, when you are waiting to do your bit, that is a good time to think, how can I help these examiners? What do they need from me? And then, when you are with the client, keep this in mind all the time, not about the examiners, no, but when with the client, continually think, how can I help you the best? There we go. So yes, it was quite similar-ish in a way, but a bit more targeted to the first question today. So you might like to go back and have a look at that one as well, and that might help you too, I hope. Okay, so I think that was all of my questions for today. Please do leave me a question through bit.ly, B-I-T, oh God, that's my talking clock. I need a talking clock because otherwise I get carried away and I forget what time it is, and then I get late for things. So, yes, you can leave a question through this link, but I will write it as bit.ly, bit.ly/wisdom hour, WISDOMHOUR. It's capital W and capital H. I don't know if that makes any difference. I really don't. It might. So you can pop a question in there. Only one question per person, please, in fairness. And all it asks for is a little bit of background, like you heard me, reading out to you there. And then to succinctly put your one question in about it. This just helps me and gives me a context that I can sort of tell people about, so they can work out whether they want to watch it or not, if there's something in it for them or not. So that's that. And for those of you, if you are really struggling, you know, I do still offer this half-hour online free call where we work on Zoom together to see, I do a bit of work with you, and then we work out whether I can help you or not, and whether you want to do anything else with me in a paid capacity. So there's always that available to you. There's never any, what would you call it? I never ever pressure anybody into working with me, because to be honest with you, I don't want to work with somebody who doesn't want to be here. It's as simple as that. And I want to make sure I'm the right person for you. And that if I'm not the right person, that I can even maybe give you some ideas or some pointers to maybe somebody who can help you. So often I just do that. I refer people on to who I think would help them the most. So do feel free to do that. I'm going to get a quick cup of tea before I see my next client. So have a lovely day. Anybody who ends up watching this later on, please feel free to like and share. Please feel free to share the bit.ly link with anyone who you think is really super stuck, doesn't know where to turn. Sometimes it can just help give them a different perspective, or just a sense of getting started on something, if nothing else, right? So God bless everyone. Have a lovely day. See you, Rose. Thanks for watching, and take care. Bye.